Hi everybody, today we're going to discuss leadership and ethics. So first I want to ask, how do you determine what is right and wrong in a scenario? What do you think defines something as right or wrong? Is it if you break a rule or if you get caught breaking a rule? Is there certain scenarios where the right and wrong can change, like if you're breaking a rule but you're doing it for a good reason? Or if you have to do something that you might think is uncomfortable, but you're trying to help someone else, or there is some kind of profit from it that could help you later down the line. And it's just a small thing that you have to do that might be considered a white lie or a small thing that's wrong, but the payout for you or for someone else might be huge. So, really, what I'm asking is what defines a scenario as right and wrong, and can that change based on the specifics of that scenario? Each person may have a different definition of what's right and wrong, and each person may have a different definition of what's right and wrong for each scenario. So they may say, in this scenario, you shouldn't break any rules, but in this scenario, if it's for the greater good or something like that, you might want to break one or two rules, and it becomes an area where right and wrong isn't necessarily a black and white situation. There's a little bit more of a gray area that we, as people, need to look at to understand all sides of that scenario before deciding if the actions taken were right or wrong. It's very important to understand that there are multiple sides to a situation, there are multiple sides to a story, and it's not just necessarily this is right all the time or this is wrong all the time. So after today, you guys will critically examine the ethics of a specific scenario. You will then design, organize, and deliver oral presentations about your findings from a group in a debate format. This is the scenario that we're going to be looking at today. So you are a national breeder of phoenix where the standard calls for a completely black breast in that all the feathers on the bird are completely black. You are showing a nearly perfect phoenix rooster at a national poultry show. Not only is there prize money directly linked to winning, but a national title would allow you to increase the price you are charging for the eggs from this rooster. So not only are you getting direct money from the show, but you can also increase the monetary value of your stock, of your flock, of your offspring that you might get later, as well as kind of your national title. People are going to know you as the national champion. The only issue with the rooster is that he should have a completely black chest, so his breast feathers should be completely black, but you see that there are a few streaks of white on some of the feathers. The streaks of white don't disqualify you from the show, but it definitely will dock points, and it threatens your chances of getting the best in show title. You have the best chance of winning. It's not necessarily that it's close with another bird, but if you have these white feathers on this black chest, you will most definitely lose. You might come second or third or whatever, but you won't get the best of show. Someone suggests that you paint over the white streaks to make them black with either like shoe polish or something like that to make the chest completely black. You also consider pulling the feathers or cutting the feathers and just cutting the feathers where the white part is, but this may result in suspicious bald spots or suspicious breakage on the feathers. And so it's a possibility that you get caught by making these changes. Leaving them alone will result in a lower ranking. So if you leave them there and you leave the white there, you will result in a lower ranking and you won't get the best of show title. But altering them and specifically getting caught. So it's no guarantee that you're going to get caught, but altering them and taking the chance of getting caught may result in, number one, being disqualified from the show, and number two, from damaging your reputation among poultry show communities. So you have to look at, if you alter the feathers, you have the best chance of winning, and winning leads to the prize money as well as higher reputation as a breeder and higher profits for you down the road from this bird. But if you do alter and you get caught, you may result in damaging your reputation. So the question that I'm asking you guys is, do you enter the bird with altered feathers or unaltered feathers? So do you take the chance of getting caught in hopes that you get the prize money, or do you put the unaltered bird in the show and know that you're probably not going to win best of show? To start this debate, I'm going to divide the class in half. Half of you guys are going to be pro-altering, and half are going to be anti-altering. Each group is going to have 10 minutes talking together to come up with an argument for your assigned side. I want 4 speakers from each group, 1 to do the opening statement, 1 to do argument number 1, 1 to do argument number 2, and 1 to do the closing statement. So you're going to have opening statement, 2 arguments, and then a closing statement, and an individual speaker for each of those. After you guys have had 10 minutes to come up with your opening arguments and closing statements, we're going to come back together and we're going to have our opening statements from each group. It's going to be 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to give your opening statement. And then we're going to do one argument and then the other argument, and each argument is 2 minutes. So in total, it's going to go opening, argument number 1, argument number 2, and then closing. The last part of the class, after both groups have done their arguments and their opening and closing statements, I want you to come back together, and we are going to have an open discussion about the points made on both sides. And then at the end, after we've had a little bit of an open discussion, we're going to take a vote to see whether the class thinks that we should alter the feathers or not. The big thing that I want you guys to remember is that we're going to be respectful of each other. We are going to let the assigned speaker talk uninterrupted for their 2 minutes, or however within that 2 minutes they want to talk. I don't want us talking over each other. I don't want us interrupting. We are going to be polite and we are going to be respectful, because we're going to get a chance to talk and we wouldn't want other people interrupting us either. So that's the important thing that I want you guys to remember, that we're going to be respectful, we're going to be polite, and we're going to give everyone a chance to say their piece without being interrupted. So I'm going to give you guys your 10 minutes, and it's going to start now. The debate is over. You guys did your opening, 2 arguments, and then your closing statement. We're going to come back together and we're going to have an open discussion about some of the points that came across. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, this is the time for us to really kind of get into it and get into some more points that you guys might have wanted to make. But again, we're going to be respectful. I don't want this to turn into just yelling at each other. We're going to be calm, and we're just going to have an open discussion. Open discussion is over. So now we're going to take a vote as a class to see whether or not we should alter the feathers or whether we should enter it unaltered.